So I have one problem as a YouTuber person, and that is that I have a great camera, but it hasn't got like one of those front-facing screens. So forever I've been filming videos and not knowing if the camera's recording, whether I'm in shot or whether I'm in focus. But now, ladies, gents, and non-binary folk, I have solved this problem. Behold, it's my phone on a selfie stick with the camera doing front-facing, so I can actually do like a cheeky like go to the back and like see what it looks. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. Now that it's exam season and I have my first exam next week, okay, one of the many helpful things I do to avoid any sense of reality or now is looking back at the past and re-getting into all the things I used to love when I was younger. And I was pleasantly surprised this week that one of the things I could reminisce about is Doctor Who. It has been a very, very long time since I have genuinely enjoyed Doctor Who. I think ever since David Tennant left and Stephen Moffat took over. Don't get me wrong, I think Stephen Moffat is a great writer. I think he's great at plots. I think he's great at, you know, confusing, conflicting and complicated narratives. Look at all that alliteration there. But in my personal opinion, I don't think he writes great characters, and I don't think he writes very well developed characters, and as a character gal, that is kind of what I'm out for, that is what I look for in a TV show, so I don't think for a long time I've had the same connection with the series like I used to have. But I think, and many of you may agree, Bill, who's the new companion in this series, so I've seen 3 episodes of it so far, is a breath of well-represented, well-written, fresh air in the Stephen Moffat era. There are so many reasons why I love Bill, and there are so many reasons why you should love Bill too, and why Bill as a character is so good and so important, and I love it so much. Number 1, which is probably the one that everyone who is in any sort of Tumblr-esque environment whatsoever is probably the most obvious one. She's just a big old good heap of representation thrown right into the show. How many black queer women do we see on TV, on like mainstream media, and it's just treated in the show as like such a normal thing, and how amazing that's going to be for all the kids who are watching this show, who are going to grow up seeing this black openly gay woman and think it's a totally normal thing. And because she's gay, this other wonderful thing happens where there's no longer this weird sort of unresolved or unmentioned sexual tension between the Doctor and his companion. I think Rose and the Doctor were fantastic, but again, that was Russell T Davies and not Stephen Moffat. Russell T Davies, he's fucking fantastic at writing characters. That was his like one like major perk. He could write a good romance like nobody else, and oh my god, did that kill me forever, the romance between Ten and Rose. But Stephen Moffat, I don't think necessarily has the greatest romantic writing skills in the world. I think that's probably why in Sherlock, for example, they skipped the whole developmental part of John and Mary's relationship and just went straight to the wedding, because married couples are so much easier than that awkward like will they won't they awkward stage at the very beginning, which is very hard to write admittedly. So I was so relieved to see, after 2 companions worth, so Amy and Clara, of this sort of like, do they fancy the Doctor, don't they fancy the Doctor, weird flirty. I was so glad to see once again just this sort of very, very platonic but very supportive and loving and caring relationship happening between the Doctor and his companion, where the Doctor in this particular series, who is very much a mentor and a friend to Bill, but at the same time Bill is also a mentor and friend to the Doctor. Bill just doesn't let the Doctor get away with the shit that I think previous companions may have let him get away with. They kind of idolised the Doctor maybe, and that meant that he could kind of get away with killing people and letting people die and stuff, whereas I think Bill is very much like Donna actually, won't and doesn't put up with the Doctor's shit and will call him out and will question the decisions that he makes and makes him rethink about his moral code, which I think is a great thing and a good thing, because in some ways Doctor Who's got really dark recently. recently, because the Doctor just doesn't seem to care about people dying. So it'll be interesting to see if that comes up again in the later series. Another thing that I love about Bill, and I don't know if I can say this without it coming out wrong, but I'm just gonna try and I hope you get what I mean. Jenna Coleman and Karen Gillan are two very gorgeous, beautiful women, but they're very archetypally beautiful, and they're very much, you know, the kind of people who you would imagine being in Hollywood and modelling. They're very petite, they're very pretty. Bill, her beauty comes out when she smiles, when she moves, the way that she acts. Her beauty is also in her emotions. When she thinks something, when she says something, like all of her emotions on her face, she's not contained at all, and that is another beauty as well. When someone's that open and expressive with the way that they talk and the way that they move, I think is a really, you know, it's a really admirable thing, and it's a really cool and attractive thing to have in a companion. She very much feels like a very real person to me. And also on top of that, when she moves, you kind of get the sense that she's probably going to trip over her legs at some point, which is very similar to me. Yeah. I can also relate to the fact that she's a student and I'm a student and we're both poor and just trying to do what we can with our lives and our very, very little money. I think what I'm trying to summarise here is that for the first time in a long time, Stephen Moffat and Doctor Who has had a character which feels just like a normal person. But also she's something brand new that I think we've never seen before as well, and that's her own unique Billness. I like it. If you'd like me to talk a little bit more about Doctor Who, which I don't usually do, but maybe I will do if I continue to like this new series, please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below what you think about the new series of Doctor Who, subscribe to see more of this face. Not necessarily these lashes, these are fake, but this face. I will see you guys soon. Okay, bye!